What's up everyone, Trent here.
Along with Julia.
And welcome to the Fortress, and we've just got back from Avengers Endgame, the Sydney premiere, and this is our spoiler review.
Spoilers!
Spoiler alert! We're going to be discussing key plot elements in this and how it helped the story. We have our non-spoiler review as well if you want to check that out and you don't want things spoiled. I think we've given enough warning now.
Spoilers!
Basically spoilers. Anyway, this is a fantastic movie from the very get-go. You're drawn into the somber feel. Just when you thought you've gotten over the impact and the negativity and the sadness that happened with Infinity War, first scene
is a killer.
Clint's family gets dusted in front of him, and this leads into his journey into Ronan. After the 5-year time skip. But before that even happens, the movie just comes and goes full pace. We learn that Thanos is on a distant planet on what's known as the Garden. And the Avengers find him, find out that he's used the stones a second time
to destroy said stones.
Yes. And then they cut his arm, and then Thor cuts his head off. He finally goes for the head, which he acknowledges.
Then. But you are left in complete and utter shock because
you have to figure out how it's gonna end.
It's just like it then goes like a black screen. I was expected like the credits to start rolling.
Yeah, and they did start rolling. The Avengers Endgame came up.
I was just like, oh wow.
Yeah, it was a really intense opening. That really got you thinking, and in the audience, it got me thinking very much how are they going to resolve this.
Exactly, it set up for the rest of the movie, and I think the story in which they would go, because everyone had their theories that Thanos was going to live through the whole thing and be that overarching enemy, and he wasn't.
No, he was not. He was not really the big bad in this until the third act.
Yeah.
Instead, it was more, and they call it a heist. It's called the Time Heist. And you get Scott Lang, who escapes from the quantum realm very early in the movie, and Tony gets rescued by Captain Marvel very early in the movie to set everything up. Yeah. And kind of the Avengers have to figure out how they are going to get and fix the damage that's been done by Thanos. So they then go on this time heist.
But it's also and I think Captain America put it really well when he's talking to Widow. We're constantly teaching people to accept and move on to what's happened, but we can't.
Yes.
And
they can't move past
what has happened because they feel so responsible for it. So it's then allowing that development through and into this time heist, which was a great storyline.
I thought it was going to struggle because whenever they introduce time travel into it, and they make a lot of jokes at the expense of Back to the Future
and any time bit, and so
Quantum Leap is another one they make jokes about. Anything that has a time travel element is always it can be just completely dissected. It can go over the audience's heads. They explain this relatively well.
They explained it really well without being too far spoon-fed.
Yes.
And I think especially the scene between Hulk and
the ancient one, Tilda Swinton, yes.
Yes, which was brilliant. She looked amazing.
Yep.
Explained it really well into how it's kind of not like that Back to Future aspect where you are changing the past, you are actually changing the present to change your future.
Yes, so the past still happens. You are altering, more so. You are changing the present, not so much the future. You're setting up the future.
Yes.
But you're not changing the past. Things that happen in the past don't change. It's all linear still.
Yes.
That's how I took it.
That's how I took it as well.
But yeah, this was a 3-hour movie that was completely just going, so that could have easily been over our heads. But this time heist concept was really interesting. They went back to key periods in Avengers history.
That was amazing.
And it got turned on its head because you had the Battle of New York, you had when Star-Lord found the Power Stone, and that's where Widow and Hawkeye then went to Volmir to find the Soul Stone. And then you had one other, the Time Stone. So you had Thor and Rocket go after the Reality Stone in the Dark World time setting. So that you had all these different groups going off and doing different things, and you got to see the team dynamic really shine. Rocket and Groot.
Oh my!
Fantastic.
Rocket and Groot.
Rocket and Thor. Rocket and Thor. Fantastic.
And on that note, can we talk about Thor?
Fat Thor.
Fat Thor.
That was not a direction I thought they would go at all.
Is perfect. We walk into him building his new Valhalla, or did they call it?
It's New Asgard.
New Asgard.
It's almost like Aquamanish.
Yes, very Aquamanish. But and you walk into the house, and he's turning around, and you're seeing him, and I was doing, I was like, please be fat, please be fat, please be fat. Turns around, you have a fat Chris Hemsworth.
Fat beard, long hair.
Just looks. It's great.
The Byron Bay lifestyle's caught up to Chris Hemsworth. Yep. It was great, and in there was Corgan Meek. Yeah, they were in there too.
Bro,
hey.
They were playing Fortnite, bro.
Yeah, this guy's been a bully to me online.
Yeah.
It was there were some fun moments, and the team interactions really did some great things, and you got to see extra scenes happen, especially in the New York one, because they went to a time when there was the most stones in play at once.
New York, and so many storylines happening at once. And the Ancient One described it well, because Hulk goes to find Doctor Strange, and he's like, where's Doctor Strange? And she's like,
you're 5 years too early.
5 years too early, and he's 12 miles that way doing some surgery.
Yeah. But you got callbacks to other movies that even weren't part of this universe. Like there's a scene in an elevator where it's all the Hydra guys. Frank Grillo's Crossbones is in there. Yeah. And it's literally that scene.
That scene is perfect.
They don't fight. Instead, Cap goes,
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra! Nick Spencer's wet dream of Secret Empire came true for a little minute in the movie.
And then him walking out with that briefcase, and you just...
That had the Tesseract in it. That had the scepter in it, not the Tesseract.
Yeah.
So different groups went after different stones, and it made for a very fun second act.
Yes.
And that the first act was figuring out how they're going to do it, all the team coming back together. Second act was more moving along to, find the stones. And then the third act was amazing, the final battle.
The link in between the second and the third act, though, was Nebula.
Yes, Nebula had a very crucial role.
She was very crucial in this. And it was a lot of character development for her as well, which was missed, I think, in some of the other movies.
Yeah, Karen Gillan actually did a very good job because she had to play... She played two very different versions of Nebula in this.
Two very different characters.
Yeah, because
one
she was
clearly
still
under the thumb.
Under the thumb villain who has some complexities to her, and then the new heroic Nebula, and how that plays off Gamora, who's alive because the Thanos that they're dealing with is the 2014 Thanos. Yeah. And he then learns about through Nebula, because she gets captured on one of the things because of a psi-link she has with the pastime Nebula that allows him to know what the outcome is of what happened in Infinity War.
Biting my nails, going no. Yeah. But that was a perfect little link up to how to bring back Thanos as well in a very powerful way.
Yeah. Because that was the thing people were unsure about, because the stones had been used and they were badly damaged. They only had one more use left, which he did to get rid of them. This was the perfect way. It didn't really make you question, how does time paradoxes work and all that kind of stuff. No. You just accepted it, you went with the ride, and it led to an awesome, epic final battle.
Which was brilliant.
Where Cap picks up a little thing. Finally.
I have never been so happy in a movie theatre in my life to watch Chris Evans, to watch Captain America pick up this and swing it.
All right, settle down. Clean up on aisle one. And we got some epic moments. Thor comes he snaps out of his drunkenness.
And comes into an awesome element as well, especially when he's wielding both hammers.
Stormbreaker and
Mjolnir. Perfect.
Yeah, and all the Avengers really got time to shine. People will be disappointed with Hulk.
Yes.
Hulk was going along the Professor Hulk, so he was more on the lines of figuring out how the time travel element worked and using the quantum realm. And his exemption from the third act, I think, is going to go unnoticed by a lot of people. Until you think about it and thought Hulk's not in there. His arm gets really badly damaged when they assemble the Infinity Stones in a gauntlet that Tony made, and does a snap himself to bring back all the dead Avengers and everyone. Amazing. And they all come back just as Cap has picked up the hammer and had his shield demolished. You hear Falcon. Cap, is that you? On your left. On your left. And then Doctor Strange opened up all the portals. We get an epic, almost Lord of the Rings-ish battle.
Especially at that point before you hear Cap on your left, you were thinking they're going, how is this going to finish? We are watching Thanos' army rain down, and he's demolishing these guys.
Yeah.
And having that moment.
Without the stones, mind you.
Without the stones either.
Yeah.
There is no stones in play with this. It is literally just brute Thanos.
Yeah.
And the
Black Order are back.
Black Order are back.
The Chitauri are back.
And you're just sitting there just going, how? And then just having that moment and that light breakthrough.
I cried.
It was
beautiful. I'm not ashamed at all to
beautiful.
say that I cried so much in this movie at all. Especially when Cap picked up that hammer, I just bawled my eyes out.
I just liked Thor's realization in it of, I knew it.
I was right. I knew it. But yeah, there were some great moments. Loki, there's a really interesting Loki twist that will be interesting to see how that goes. To do with the Battle of New York with the Tesseract. So he kind of escapes and we don't get any resolution.
So hopefully he's still alive.
Yes, but speaking of alive, we got two very significant deaths that were very heartfelt. And the first one involved Clint and Natasha. Fighting for who was going to sacrifice themselves for the Soul Stone, and that really brought both those characters who overall have not got a lot of development within the MCU. Scarlett Johansson's probably got a lot more than Hawkeye has.
Yeah.
But this really showed and played off their dynamic of being old friends and comrades.
Yeah.
They've been through a lot together, and Clint even having his family. This will bring his family back. Yeah. Sacrificing himself, and Natasha going, no, you need to be there for your family.
Yeah, that line of tell my family I love them, and then she shooting him and going, you tell them yourself. Yeah. And running for the cliff.
Yeah,
it was brutal.
It was a sad moment, and Red Skull was there again as the Stonekeeper. But that was a brutal moment. And the final big person who carks it that leads into some great moments afterward. Tony sacrifices himself. Using Thanos has put the gauntlet on and he's just about to do the snap. Captain Marvel comes in. She can't stop him. Thanos actually uses the Power Stone to knock her out.
Yes. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then just that connection between Doctor Strange and Tony. And it's a look. And it's a look and one finger
This is the one chance. You know what you need to do.
One chance. And that was kind of it kind of reminded me of a Robin Hood moment from the Disney Fox one where Thanos clicks and just nothing happens. And it's the realization that all of them are gone and the glowing on Tony's hand and just going...
Yep, his nanotech absorbed the stones and formed a gauntlet, and he did the snap to eliminate Thanos' army.
But not Thanos.
No,
yes,
Thanos,
it did.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it did.
What are you talking about?
I just had a brain
It took
fart.
longer. It took longer.
Right. He watched it all.
Yes, he watched everyone.
Everything he
had ever built disappear, and then he sat down complacent and disappeared himself. Some really somber storytelling that led to Tony having some really somber moments with Peter. Yeah, and he has a daughter too, so we get a really cool scene of him talking to his daughter via a recording that he did, anticipating that he'd die. There were some really powerful moments, and I know we've gone into the spoilers with this, but in the non-spoiler review, we couldn't really go into detail of just how emotional it was. And then the ending just keeps getting more and more emotional in a bittersweet way, because you're saying farewell to these characters, but you're getting new characters rising up to take over mantles. Captain America has another bittersweet send-off.
Oh, that was perfect, though.
His arc comes full circle. And it's an absolute triumph of story and world building.
Definitely.
Just what they've done with this entire franchise in 11 years. To have Cap's arc come full circle, where he has the duty to return the stones back to the
rightful places
in time that they were taken, and he stayed back as well to have a relationship with Peggy. Yeah, that got me. That's getting me now. And then you cut to the time, because the time only takes 5 seconds.
Yes.
In the present, and then Bucky, Sam, and Hulk look over, and there's an old.
And Bucky's like, look.
Yeah, and there's an old 80-year-old Steve Rogers sitting on the bench, with a wedding ring. And he then passes on the mantle of Captain America to Sam Wilson. Awesome. So it's closure for the original Avengers for a lot of them. Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen with others. Thor, he's going on a journey to find himself.
And he's with the Guardians with that, who look like they're
the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. So I don't think we'll get another Thor movie for a while. I reckon that'll be part of Guardians 3.
3.
Yeah, Thor will be on that. And yeah, so great. We got to see Pepper don the rescue suit that wasn't dubbed rescue.
Brilliant.
Valkyrie riding a winged horse, a Pegasus.
Pegasus.
The battle was just epic. The CGI was fantastic, considering just how much they have to balance in the entire thing. It's a masterpiece. The music, just everything about it. Joe and Anthony Russo did such a great job. The cast have done such a great job, and the story comes. It's just
full circle.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's neat. You don't have any. You do have some questions about some characters that they have allowed for, but the key characters and the key ones that it's all nicely wrapped up.
Yep, and it's wrapped up to the point where there's no post-credit scenes as well.
To absolutely have no post-credit scenes drives me insane, but...
Well, no, it's signifying that this is the end of this chapter.
Exactly. Yes. You don't need it.
Yes, even though they've come out and said Spider-Man Far From Home is the epilogue. But that's
okay.
But yeah, this was such a fantastic movie. I really hope you do take as much joy out of it that we did. Like, as you can tell, I'm kind of... trying to hold back.
Still emotional.
I'm trying to hold back some emotions, but it's just fantastic, and I hope you guys love it too.
Yeah.
And even though there are spoilers in this video, if you know what happens, I'm seeing it again tomorrow. I know I'm going to feel the exact same thing. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm Trent.
I'm Julia.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
Subscribe to our channel. Follow our handles at Fortress Nerds, and as always,
you're watching
The Fortress.